I'm Robin Murdoch, live on Detroit's east side, where we are now about 3 hours away from crews once again tearing down the old Packard plant right behind me here. We've got the very latest on today's demolition in my live report. Good morning, Amy.
Good morning, Robin. We'll move over chocolate. There's a new top candy taking over, and it's made right here in the Midwest. We're going to give you a look inside the Nerds factory.
Sounds good. Cleaning Lady is back on Fox. So we will talk with one of the stars, Elodie Young, about what fans can expect for season 3.
Working for you. Fox 2 News live at 11 starts now.
Well, good morning. Thanks for being with us on this beautiful Monday. It is March 4th. I'm Amy Lange.
And I'm Brandon Hudson. We want to begin with some breaking news this morning. A massive victory for Donald Trump in a unanimous decision. The Supreme Court has ruled that the former president should be allowed to appear on the ballot in Colorado. Now, that state tried to remove him using the 14th Amendment, otherwise known as the Insurrection Clause. This ruling impacts Colorado, Illinois, Maine, and others who had hoped to take the former president off the ballot. It also comes one day before the Super Tuesday primaries. Switching gears to something locally, a barricaded situation ends peacefully overnight in Westland.
This happening near Cherry Hill and North Newburgh Road. Police say the male suspect was arrested without incident after several hours of trying to get him to come out of the house.
Luckily, we were able to navigate through this tricky situation without anybody being hurt, without anybody being in harm's way any more than they needed to be.
Well, this case remains under investigation. We're told, as always, the department will review its handling of the situation to see if there's any room for improvement.
Well, it was one of the more famous symbols of blight in Detroit, and happening today. It will soon come down. We're talking about the old Packard plant, which begins the next phase of its demolition. Wow,
the site has been an eyesore for decades. Fox 2's Robin Murdoch joining us live with details. Hi, Robin.
Good morning, Amy and Brandon. That demolition is expected to happen right around 2 o'clock this afternoon. So right now we're about 3 hours away from crews once again tearing down the old Packard plant right behind me here on the city's east side. Mayor Mike Duggan is expected to be on hand for the big event, as well as a couple different city council members and those close to the project for this demolition that is years in the making.
The abandoned Packard plant has been a source of national embarrassment for the city of Detroit for many years.
That was Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan talking about the much anticipated and much needed demolition of the historic auto plant back in September of 2022 during the initial phase of the project. In its heyday, the sprawling 3.5 million square foot manufacturing facility was known as the most modern in the world. Driving by it now, though, it is a mere shell of what it once was in the early 1900s. The 30-building plot sits in ruins and disarray.
It's been a source of personal pain for our people in this community.
We are digging into our archives to show you the rise and fall of the massive property that was previously a symbol of prosperity and possibility here on the city's east side. The Packard plant remained open for 5+ decades, producing luxury cars before closing down in 1956. New businesses eventually moved into the building, which caught fire 10 years later. TV2 reporter Joe Weaver interviewed the chief at the time.
We're quite certain it started in the property of the toy company here. The fire spread to the roof of the 2-story structure which houses the Sensory Tool Company, and of course that roof on fire dropped some brands and water got through as we were extinguishing that on some of their very expensive machinery in there.
In the 1980s, an event at the former manufacturer brought dozens of Packards back to the place where they were originally made. But time and unfortunately crime took its toll on the building. It was scrapped for various materials and even defaced by vandals. In 2013, a Peruvian developer purchased the property in hopes of giving it a complete overhaul, but investors for his project never panned out. In just a few hours, Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan will return to what's now become a historic eyesore for the latest phase of its demolition.
We're going to see the day when a new employer builds something here and starts hiring people.
And again, that was Mayor Mike Duggan talking about the demolition project from 2 years ago. So that was back in September of 2022. He is expected to be back out here at 2 o'clock today. That is when that demolition will begin. He's expected to talk about what this means for the future of the city and all of the possibilities that could result as this building does come down again. So all of that happening at 2 o'clock. Of course, stay with us right here at Fox 2 News for the very latest. For now, we are live here in the city's east side. I'm Robin Murdoch. I'll send it back to you.
Robin, thank you for that really fascinating history of that area. You must have enjoyed going through the archives there. And it's just so fascinating how prosperous it once was and you know what it is now. So it's been through a lot.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's really interesting to take a trip down memory lane. I happen to be working with Doug Tracy today, who does a lot of our archiving stuff at the station. And you are right, just what we were able to save from way back in the day, documenting what happened here, you know, in the 50s and the 60s and during that fire. I mean, it's amazing the type of history that this property has seen, and hopefully the history that will happen as a result of it coming down. So certainly a lot to be had out here.
Yeah, lots of new beginnings. All right, thanks so much. Appreciate you, Robin. Brandon.
Well, there are several new cases of measles confirmed in Metro Detroit. The latest case is in Wayne County. While like the previous case in Oakland County, this patient is said to have been involved in international travel. However, health officials say there is no connection between the two people.
Measles is the most infectious virus known to humankind. To put that in perspective, imagine a population. One person has COVID, and everybody else around them is susceptible. They're not vaccinated. That person will, on average, give the virus to about 4 other people. When it comes to measles, that person will give the virus to up to 18 other people.
Wayne County is urging anyone who has not been vaccinated against the measles or doesn't know if they've ever received their shots to contact their doctor to develop a plan of action. Meantime, a case has also been confirmed in Washtenaw County, and this one may involve potential exposure to the public. Anyone who was in the emergency room at Trinity Hospital in Ypsilanti this past Friday between 10:30 a.m. and 1 p.m. should seek medical attention immediately. Again, that is 10:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. last Friday, Trinity Hospital ER in Ypsilanti. You will also want to get the measles shot by the end of today if you've never had it.
Well, this week begins the second chapter in that historic court case in Oakland County. Tomorrow, jury selection is set to begin in the trial of James Crumbley, the father of the Oxford school shooter, charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter. His wife, Jennifer, as you know, was just found guilty of the same charges by a jury last month. James Crumbley requested a change of venue but was denied. Prosecutors say the couple was negligent for buying their son a gun. He killed 4 students in the November 2021 shooting. He did plead guilty. He was sentenced to life in prison without parole. He is appealing that sentence, and Jennifer Crumbley is due to be sentenced next month. Well, a member of the Michigan State University Board of Trustees resigns. Rima Vassar stepped down as chairwoman. She made her announcement shortly before a special board meeting. Vassar is the target of an independent investigation into allegations of misconduct and bullying. Trustee Dennis Deno is also named in the report. Governor Gretchen Whitmer will review the case.
Again, while I am fully human and I make mistakes, I lead with integrity, transparency, and with transformative change at the center of my decisions.
Governor Whitmer does have the power to remove board members if they're proven guilty of any gross misconduct. Dan Kelly will take over as chair.
A new report details the dangers on Detroit buses. Now, according to the Detroit News, DDOT drivers average 1 crash every day. The Detroit News reviewed the numbers. Take a look at this here. Last year, DDOT drivers were involved in 369 crashes. That's a little more than 1 per day. Of those crashes, more than 2/3 involved other vehicles. 30% were drivers who hit immobile objects. 6 involved pedestrians, and there were at least 2 accidents every week. The numbers don't look good for this year either. Already in 2024 through February 24th, DDOT drivers were involved in nearly 60 crashes.